Bro, how are you so productive? What is your secret? What's up guys, Daniel here and welcome to another video on the channel. Some might say that planning every single moment of your day is a very counterproductive and robotic process. But to me, it allows me to know what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to be doing, kind of like a guide, so that I maximize every moment of my time. Because you know, the secret is not to like schedule your whole day and like have to follow it task per task. The secret is actually not following it. Just knowing that you blocked out this time for this task, it prevents you from having to waste time thinking about what you're going to be doing next. I've tried analog methods with actual paper and pen. You know, the feeling of actually writing down the task and scratching it off. It's a satisfying feeling. The only downside is I kind of find myself in situations where I have like something that I need to quickly jot down to remember, and I just don't have the notebook that I write my tasks in. And so it has forced me to consider digital alternatives. And after trying a million to-do apps out there, I've settled on an app called TickTick, which I was first introduced to back in 2018 watching one of MKBHD's What's in My iPhone videos. I believe he still uses the application, and I can see why, because it's so good. The app is free to use, but there is a pro version that is a subscription-based model. And so that's what today's video is going to be about. I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes into how I've been using TickTick in an effort to enlighten you on how powerful and how useful the app has been for me. So let's dive in. Alright guys, so now we are on our iPhone. The first thing you gotta do is you gotta open the application, right? So as you open the application, you are brought to this screen. I believe when you first install the application, you're gonna have to sign up or sign in. But as you see, it doesn't seem like you need to sign in, but I'd suggest that you sign up for the service just because you will be able to take advantage of the syncing capabilities. At least the free plan, I believe you can sync freely between your mobile devices. So for me, I use an iPhone and an iPad, and so I've been able to sync freely between them without, you know, having to shell out for the premium subscription. And so I find that really useful. So we're gonna sign in because I already have an account. We're gonna sign in to Google. After we sign in, we should be ready to talk to you about TickTick. Alright, so now that I'm signed in, everything's loaded up. Let me give you a little overview of the application. So the first thing you're gonna notice is a side panel that you can invoke while swiping to the right. And here you can see a whole bunch of things that you probably don't understand yet. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about it. So this sidebar holds your different lists, as they call it, right? And the lists can be anything you want it to be, right? There are two types of lists. There's the smart lists, which are what you see at the top, today and inbox, with their special icons there. And everything below that are normal lists, like I call it, where you create it yourself, and you have the option of setting emojis for each one, which is pretty cool. You can also group lists into folders, and you can, like, you know, press that to hide and show them. If you wanted to add a list, you can just add one real quick. Let's call it something, right? You can change the color, you can change the folder. If you want to drop it in a folder, the type of list. I'm not gonna go too much detail into that. But beside the name something, you see a tree-line menu. If you tap that, you can choose an icon to represent it, which I find a nice touch to organize your stuff, right? And when you're done, you just press done, and as you can see, it just pops up here, and you can tap and hold, and you can reorganize where it is. We're just gonna leave that right there. So within each list now, let's say I go into inbox, you see another view, right? This is where all your tasks live, right? Every task that you put. In the case of smart lists, these lists are like created automatically based on certain criteria. So you can make smart lists that say, okay, only the tasks that are high priority, that are for tomorrow, will show here. That's basically what a smart list is, right? And so the inbox is a smart list that collects all of your tasks from today, tomorrow, next 7 days, later, ones with no date, and even completed, and it puts it all into this section right here. And as you can see at the top, you have a search bar in case you want to search something specific, Underneath you have tasks. There's a bottom bar which holds two different tabs, which are the tasks. If you tap the other one, it opens up like a calendar view. This one's actually called the list view because it contains your list, and it also contains a little calendar so you can like cross-reference, which is pretty nice. There are other views. If you tap the top left icon, you can see there's month, day, 3-day, and week, but those are locked behind the paywall. So we're not gonna talk about that. To add a task, you can press the plus button and start adding a task like record video, right? Below that, you can see a calendar looking icon, a flag looking icon. The calendar, you can choose a day that you want it to be due. As you can see under the calendar, you have time, reminder. You can have it constantly be repeated, stuff like that. And when you're done, for example, I'm gonna choose today. You can set the flag, which is the priority. Let's say I want it to be low priority. And when I'm done, I can just add it there. As you can see right here, record video. Now within each task, if you tap it, you have further options. If you tap into the empty space, you can type a description, which to my knowledge, there's no limit on the number of characters you can have for your description, which is cool. So I can just write record tick video. And if you go further at the bottom, you can see that there's options to create subtasks, which is the second icon, right above the video, right? The video thing in the keyboard. You tap it, it creates subtasks and separates it from the description. So I'm gonna create more tasks, another task, and so on and so forth. Right, there is a limit to how much subtasks you can do. That I'll talk about at the end of the video. And you have your description, which you can type whatever you want in here. Now, while you're typing in the description, you have a whole bunch of options when it comes to like formatting of the text in there. So if you tap the little A with an underline, if you tap that, you are greeted with a whole bunch of options to headers, bold, highlight, check marks, dots, numbered, italic, and dividers, which is pretty cool. So if I go here, tap the little line icon with the dots above and below it. If you tap it, it creates a divider, and you can write other things, which are pretty amazing. And you can bring back the little dotted stuff. You can create check marks. So now let's go back to the task view, right? Right now we're in the smart list, which you don't have much control over like how a smart list looks. Let's go back and go into, for example, my creator list. In the creator list, notice how different it is, where I actually have different sections for different things, like tasks, which is today. I can tap it to say that I finished it. I have current projects, I have freelance gigs, and I have video ideas all here in their respective sections. If you tap the three-dot menu at the top right, you are given options to manage section. By tapping that, you can add different sections to help you organize your stuff. And you can also change views, right? So this is now the list view. But what if I wanted Kanban view? By switching view, I can switch to the Kanban view, which, as you can see, makes it side scrollable, which some people might prefer. I actually don't prefer that, so I'm gonna go back to the list view. I like being able to see everything, in one place. Now let's dig into how I actually use TickTick to manage my whole entire life. I use TickTick in two ways. The first way I use TickTick is obviously as a to-do app that manages all the tasks that I have to do. The second way I use TickTick is basically as a way to collect aspects of different parts of my life. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. Let's just talk about how I use it as a to-do app, right? So going back to the iPhone, you probably won't have all of these lists here. You'll probably only have the first two, which is today and inbox. Those are smart lists that compile everything together based on criteria. So on the today list, it will only show, you guessed it, tasks that are due today. So these are all tasks I have here due today. Inbox is a smart list that basically holds everything. So what I usually do is I just go to the inbox, right? And I just add a task, right? Go to restaurant with friend, right? And then I would go tap the calendar icon. I choose today, tomorrow, whatever, today. And I would choose a time for it. So let's say at 6 p.m. Reminder, you can choose whether to be reminded. It can send you a notification on time, 5 minutes early, 30 minutes early, an hour early, a day early, or you can even create a custom one. You can also have it repeated. So if this is something that you do often, like for example, I always every week I drop the laundry off, or every week, I go to the internet and stuff like that. If it's something repeatable that you do every day, you can just set it one time in this app. When you choose repeat, you can choose amongst various intervals, and that way you can just set it and forget it, and you'll always be reminded. No need to set it multiple times. It's that cool. Right, of course, you have custom, obviously. You can choose it if you want more control over when you want to repeat. If you chose a repeat option, you can also tell it when to stop repeating. So let's say you only want to gym every day at 5 p.m. for however amount of time. By turning it on, you can choose a date when exactly, or after how much times, which is awesome. And when you're done, you just press done, and you press done again, and there you go. It is added into your to-do. I forgot to say that once you go, let's go into the task that we made, go to restaurant with friend, there's a flag option. That flag option right here, if you tap it, it allows you to choose a priority, whether low, medium, or high, right? Let's delete this task because I don't need it. For me, as you can see, all these tasks that have yellow boxes around them, these are my everyday repeatable tasks, like lunch, exercise, dinner, bathe, study, right? And you can know that they're repeatable because you see there's a little icon here that looks like a repeating circle. That means it's repeatable. And just for more visualization, I put them in all caps. I put an emoji beside it, and I gave it a priority of yellow. For stuff related to school, I put them a priority of red, which means high priority. So as you can see, as I scroll down, I have little trabajos, some reports that I have to do. And so the days that they're due, you can see February 21st, I have a report on diabetes and pregnancy to do, and that is in red because it's school related. The tasks that aren't related to school and aren't part of my daily routine, those just stay in gray, which means no priority. And as you can see, I use the priority system, not the way it was intended to. I kind of use it just to be able to label my task as whether it's part of my daily routine, whether it's part of school, or whether it's part of random, like, small errands that I have to do, right? So I don't really use it as high priority, low priority. And that's basically how I use the regular to-do function. Now I'm gonna be showing you how I use it to, organize my creative, YouTube life and all of that. If we go to the side panel again and we go to the next list, which is creator, which has this little, painter's palette, if we tap that, you can see this is basically how I have everything set up. So because this is a normal list, like I told you before, you have more options of creating your own sections and basically organizing it how you want. So basically all my normal lists are like this, with various sections. So you can collapse the section just like that, bring it out, hide it. And as you can see, for creator, I have my current projects, which is what I'm working on, right? I have freelance gigs if I'm doing any creative project for people. I have my video ideas, which whenever I have a video idea, I just come here and just add something to the video ideas. You can quickly add something, but you see what the plus button is, you can actually press and hold and just drop it wherever you want. So I will drop it right here. And I can put a new idea, like maybe review tripod, right? And it just pops up right there. Another thing that I do is, you see within my current projects, if I go to TickTick, right, you can see that I have the title of the task at hand, how I stay productive, TickTick setup, and underneath it, I can add additional information that helps me figure out what I still need to do. So here I have, does free plan include syncing to desktop, and who are the people behind TickTick? Right, these are the little questions I would have put here so that I know that I need to look up that before filming this video. And here I don't have any, but I can add subtasks, right? And I can say look up this or revise that, or etc., etc. And that's basically how I use it to plan my content strategy. Like with this, you can basically like make your whole YouTube script on this if you wanted to. I kind of like just doing it on my iPad in a Notes app because that's just a lot more better for me. But a lot of my ideas actually start here in this little view, and then it passes on to my iPad for when I'm really into it. So the next way I use TickTick is to do things that weren't intended originally by the app. So what do I mean by this? So like under the creator list, you can see I have a list for goals where I put all my goals and aspirations for the year. I have a finance list where I basically structure everything into different sections, such as like my wallet, what's in my bank, my daily expenditure, my stipend, which I get from my government, and all of that for school. And all that's in there. I'm not gonna show you these two, but what I can show you is the bookmarks list. If I tap that, you can see I have different tasks labeled for the different websites that I use on the daily. So for example, if I go to stock assets, which is here, you can see I titled it stock assets. I have a description that says sites for creator music, footage, images, sound effects, etc. Underneath, I have different URLs for that, and so I can keep adding here, and if I want, I can tap one of them, like the first one, and instantly go through the story blocks, and then I can easily go back, right? Easily as that. And I'm using this list as kind of like a launch pad for all of the sites that I go to on a regular basis, which makes everything cool because it's all in one place. Going back now, you can see I have a wish list where I just put stuff that, you know, maybe in the future I would want to invest in. Like, I would like a new computer, backpacks, cameras, and other stuff like that. And the rest of the stuff, like dope and web is a folder where I have general and medicine. This is usually where I jot down things I want to search for whenever I connect to the internet. Because where I am, which is Cuba, you know, internet is not widely accessible all the time. And so I actually have to dedicate a certain time to go and use it. And so when you go there, you don't want to go there and like not know what you're going to be searching, because the Wi-Fi is based on time. And so you want to already reach there and know what you're going to be searching. So here in general, as you can see, I have Kanye West documentary. I want to check that out. Download all Grandson music on Apple Music. I have some tweets that I want to check out whenever, possibly because there's something to download or something to watch. I go back to medicine. I have all kinds of stuff that I want to like look up. And dope should actually be in the web as well, because dope is where I put stuff that I find on the internet that I think is really cool and would like to, you know, go back and check it out, right? And let me show you how that dynamic works with TickTick. So we're gonna open Safari and we're gonna go to a site, and let's say I stumble upon an article that I like, that I want to check out later. What I can do is I can go to this site, I can press the share icon at the bottom, and here you're greeted with different options, TickTick being one of them. If I tap TickTick, it opens up another menu where it puts the title and the URL in the title portion of the task. By default, it doesn't have a date. You can put a date if you want. I'm not gonna put that. And you can also set a destination. So by default, it is inbox. When I click it, as you can see, I can choose any of the list that I have and just drop it in there. So I'm gonna drop it into general, and then press save. And now when I go back to TickTick and go into my general, you can see now at the top, if I tap it, I have a link here, and it supports links. So that's pretty cool. So now whenever I feel like I want to go and, you know, read it later, I just tap it and it opens up the website and I can read it back again. And it's not just for articles on the web. If I go into the YouTube app right now and I stumble upon a video that I like this first one, Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra review, I can tap the three dot menu, share, go back to more, same process, tap the TickTick, right? Change the destination to general, press save. When I go back, now as you can see at the top, I have a YouTube video ready to click and watch. Same thing now, if I go to Twitter and I realize I find something I like this tweet right here by Canoopsy, I press share via TickTick, change the destination. You can edit this if you want to, you know. I'm just lazy for this video. And then I press save. And now when you go back, you can see it's here again. And I can check it whenever I want. When I'm done with it, I just tap it. So if you mistakenly delete one, there's the undo button at the bottom left. You can tap that and it brings it back. Isn't that cool? Another cool thing about TickTick is it has widgets that you can put on your home screen or on the little notification shade section, at least in iOS. Now we are on the home screen. If I swipe to the right, you can see where it says today, I have a whole really good view of everything that I need to do. The sad thing is iOS widgets still aren't that interactable yet, maybe in iOS 16. But if I press the plus button, I still have to go into the app. If let's say I want to tick off lunch, right? I tap the thing, it just goes to the thing, and then I have to press that. right? Which is not very intuitive, but at least you get an at a glance view. Because as a free user, you don't get all of the widgets available. Let me show you different widgets that you can have. So if I go to TickTick, you can see there's multiple widgets that you can access. This, you have the small one, which, you know, may not be good for some people. You have the medium one. So you have the small, you have the medium, you have the large one, which is what I'm using. Then you have like these daily view style ones, monthly calendar view. You have all these little widgets that I feel, at least the monthly one, you can't use it unless you pay. So it literally blocks you from using it. So if I take this and I try to move it to this home screen, guess what happens? Upgrade to premium. So if you're a free user, I suggest you just stick to the list view. So now the question remains, do you stick with the free plan or do you go for and shell out for the premium plan? Now it really depends on you. I've been using the free plan forever. Basically, I only been using the free plan and I haven't came across any issues at all. So the pro version of TickTick will set you back $3 a month or $28 a year. Whether or not it's worth it for you really depends on what you plan to do with the application and what is your like scale of operation. Because as you can see in this whole video, everything that I've shown you in this video, you can do without ever having to pay a cent. Of course, there are limitations which I will show you right now while I'm talking, a chart where it shows like what's the differences between the free and the premium plan. But as an individual, I haven't hit the point where I needed and felt like I needed to go premium. But I haven't used TickTick for over 3 years now, all without paying a cent. I honestly don't mind, like in the future, once I start like working and getting my own like finance straight, I wouldn't mind paying for TickTick because it has given me so much value, has made me so much more productive, and I really like, I can wholeheartedly recommend it. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, but I just really love the application. I really appreciate the people behind this app and giving us the ability to use the app almost fully featured without having to pay a cent. I really admire that, and it just makes me want to give them money whenever I get the chance. So now that you have seen how I use TickTick to manage everything in my life, I hope you found this video useful. I hope you give TickTick a try, and if you do, I have a link down below you can click to sign up, and then links to download the apps and whatever, and try it for yourself. Let me hear how it goes, and if you have any recommendations for other to-do apps that you love, drop them down in the comments below too. I'd love to check it out. I'm always open to new things. It's just I haven't found one that's better than TickTick. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.